If I could have your attention here in the Media Center, we are now joined by today's fourth place finisher in the Camping World 500, and that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., driver of the number 17 Fastenal Ford Fusion for Roush Fenway Racing. Ricky, it's been a long time since you joined us in post-racing. Gambling move there on that last pit stop, and it paid off for you.
Yeah, Brian and Patty made a lot of adjustments overnight. We weren't that great during practice as far as speed goes, but I felt like our car had good long run speed, and it proved that today. I was glad that we were able to get some long runs there, and it actually wasn't as bad on restarts as I thought we were going to be. So, there at the end, I thought Brian wanted us to stay out when the caution came out. I kind of second-guessed him, and then when I told him everybody was coming down pit road, I'd kind of already committed to stay out and went with his gut instinct, and that paid off. So they made the car better throughout the race, and we stuck with it. Passed a lot of race cars today, and made it pretty fun.
Questions for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Lee.
Sorry, I didn't see you. Lee, SpencerMotorsport.com. Dave Parasak said Roush's day was coming, that not to give up on the team yet, that you guys had made a lot of improvements over the winter. Can you just talk a little bit about that? And have you seen a marked difference in the quality of your cars this year?
Definitely seen a difference in the quality. We still got a long ways to go, but I think we've made a big improvement from last year, especially the end of last year. Atlanta, we had a really good car. Got the right front fender tore off on the last restart. Thought we were going to finish, 5th to 10th, somewhere there. Vegas, I thought we had a 15th place car. Our axle, we had an issue with the axle there at the end. And then today, I thought we had a good long run car and, a 10th place car at best on the long run. We took a gamble and was able to, get a better finish there at the end. So, I think our cars and the attitude of the shop is really good. Trevor's got some solid finishes over the first half of the, first few races here. So, that's something encouraging and something to build off of. I feel like we've had speed, just haven't got the finishes that I feel like the speed that we have. So, it's better to have the speed and figure out how to get the finishes.
Can you talk about your bad luck that you've had?
Yeah. Yeah, there in Vegas, our car was really loose, and, we got really loose into turn one and had to bring out the backup car. But you know what? The good thing was I thought our backup car was just as good as our primary car, and that's, what the guys have been preaching at the shop is to make sure that, we're not only bringing the best cars to the racetrack that we can, but our backups are just as good. Because you got to be prepared for anything in this sport. We had a brake issue there going in turn one, first lap of the first practice on Saturday, and luckily we were able to just get some minor damage. 5 minutes we were back out on the racetrack, logging laps. So, and then the axles last week, cost us probably, 15, 20 spots. So it's been some bad luck, but today was fun. I thought we made our car better throughout the race, which it's been a while since we've done that, so I was pretty happy.
Additional questions for Ricky here in the deadline room? Do we have any questions up in the press box? Well, Ricky, congratulations on today's run and best of luck next week at Auto Club. Now joined here in the deadline room, we have Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series points leader Kyle Larson. He leads the standings by 6 points over Brad Keselowski. Finishing second today in the Camping World 500 on a very hot and challenging day at Phoenix International Raceway. Kyle, it looked like a true challenge out there for everybody, but walk us through your challenge that you faced today.
Yeah, it was hot for sure. The second half definitely got hot, and the track got kind of slimy. And my feet were getting kind of hot, but nothing crazy. It didn't feel honestly that bad. I think the temperature reads really hot here, but it's a dry heat, out here on the West Coast. So a mid-90s day in North Carolina feels 20 degrees warmer. So, but yeah, it was a fun race for us. We ran no worse than fourth, I think, all race. So was really happy about that. Challenge for the segment win there, the first round or first stage with Joey. That was a lot of fun. Finished second, I think, the second stage too, and second overall. So a solid run for us. Wish we would have been the winners. You know, I thought we were I knew we were in the best spot. Just, yeah, I turned across Ricky's nose and got sideways and killed both of our runs off of 2 and allowed Newman to get out on us.
Open up the floor for questions. We'll start with Jeff and then go to Bob.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. Kyle, I think you said something coming into this race about how finishing second is never going to get old because, you know, it's pretty awesome and you can just do that all year and you'd be fine with it. But at some point, you would think that it would get old. Are you approaching that point yet?
No. You know, that long run there, before the end, when Kyle was leading, I was, you know, obviously he's way out in front, but I was satisfied with second. So I'd have been happier running second then than now, being our position on that restart. But like I've been saying, you know, all of this, you know, early year, we've never had this speed. So it's a lot of fun right now. I'm sure, you know, if I ran second for the next 8 weeks, yeah, it's probably going to grow old. But yeah, it's so cool to be one of the fastest cars every week. Feel like I've got a shot to win every week at a racetrack like here and Vegas, where I don't normally run good, and challenge for wins. So in Daytona, I suck on super speedways. So that's it's been a lot of fun to start this year, and I just hope we can continue to work hard, be consistent, be mistake-free on pit road and on the racetrack. And if we can just keep doing that, you know, the wins are going to come. I could easily have 4 wins right now. Just got to keep working hard.
Go next to Bob.
Chris, ESPN. It's 4 seconds in your last 5 starts. Is there anything that you feel like is constant of what could be keeping you out of victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, just little mistakes or inexperience or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't, you know, today, I should have just looked, hindsight, it's always 20/20, but I should have just went, you know, a lane up through 1 and 2, and I would have stayed, should have just known to stay close to Newman. So that's, what I wish I would have done. But, yeah, it's weird running all these seconds. It took me like 3 years to finish second in sprint cars, and then, you know, now I'm finished second like every week. So a little weird, but maybe we'll turn them into wins soon.
Additional questions for Kyle here in the deadline room? Any questions from the press box? I take that as no questions. Kyle, congratulations again. Best of luck next week. We are now joined by today's race-winning crew chief, and that's Luke Lambert with the number 31 Grainger Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. One thing to note, today's victory ends a 112-race winless drought for Richard Childress Racing. Now, Luke, I know how much of a driving force that drought has been within the shop. Can you talk about how much this win means for you and your team today?
Yeah, it's really hard to assess a magnitude for right now. I just I can't say enough about what it means. You know, I couldn't be prouder of everybody within the company, everybody on my race team. Ryan, you know, everybody has really worked very hard to get us here where we are today. And you know, I said earlier, I think that Ryan really left it all on the racetrack today. You know, he was exhausted. The track temps were really elevated, and he had to work really hard. And I think that was somewhat of a metaphor for what it's taken our company to get here today. I think that you know, you can see how wrung out he is right now, and it's just a sign of him giving his all. And you know, ultimately, we put him in a position to guard off a bunch of wolves with fresh tires behind him, and he rose to the occasion and made it happen. And that to me couldn't be a more fitting symbol of what this means for our company and what our company is going through to get here today.
Okay, we're going to open up the floor for questions. We'll start up here at the front with Reed. We'll go to Ryan, Dominic, and then to Bob.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Congratulations. Ryan said outside that he wanted 2 and you wanted none. How hard was it to convince him to go with that strategy?
There was no convincing. You know, I think that me and Ryan have a really good relationship, and I felt in my gut that it was the right decision. we have a lot of people working during the race at our company that provide a lot of really good, valuable information for me to see real time. And so I had a lot of good information in front of me that I was able to draw to right quick and make a snap decision, and I felt confident that it was the best call for us. I'm not going to say that when we made the decision I felt confident we were going to win the race, but I thought it was the only opportunity we had to win the race, and I felt like doing it was going to yield a better result than the other option. So, you know, ultimately that was the weighted decision, and I told him, and he said he can make the car wide, and obviously he did. So couldn't be prouder of him for rising to the occasion, and the relationship that him and I have been able to build with our race team to where we all have a lot of confidence in each other. And you know, he didn't question it, or at least didn't voice any questioning of it at all, and made it happen.
Go to Ryan, Dominic, Bob, then Jeff, then Kenny.
Ryan O'Hara, Race Chaser Online, the Performance Motorsports Network. Congratulations. My question for you is, now that you have the win in the bag, you clinched the berth in the chase, how is that going to change the way you attack these next races going forward?
Yeah, you know, I think it goes without saying, it puts us in a position to be a little more aggressive. You know, we haven't been in this position as a race team the last couple of years. I felt like we've had really strong cars and team and a team at given points in the season, and just haven't been able to play as aggressively and play as loose as some of the other teams can, as far as, you know, trying new components, trying aggressive setups, doing things that we haven't done in the past to see if we can, you know, see if they'll live and survive the test of a race, and giving us the opportunity we have now to have that kind of confidence will allow us to try some new things, and you know, go into Fontana next week with the opportunity to be a little more aggressive and you know, race with that level of confidence. So it means a lot. You know, ultimately, I don't know that it'll change everything we do, but I'm sure it'll give us opportunity to do some things that we couldn't do in the past.
Go Dominic, Bob, Jeff, Kenny.
Dominic Ottagona with the RacingExperts.com. So you've been a crew chief now in the Cup Series 6 years. Is it hard to believe this is your first win, and has it sunk in yet?
No, it hasn't sunk in yet, and I don't know at what point it really will. But it's odd. This was the racetrack that I won my first race as a crew chief in the Xfinity Series years back in 2012. So this has become a very special place to me. It's a really challenging racetrack as a crew chief and as a race team to create a race car that performs well. We have a great driver in Ryan Newman to come here every year, but we haven't been able to make the car as good as it needed to be at different points, and sometimes we've had good cars, sometimes we haven't. And today, ultimately, we had a pretty strong car, obviously, but it just means a lot to do it at such a challenging racetrack, and like I said, a place that we've won before, it means a lot, and I'm sure it won't really sink in until tomorrow or sometime later this week. And one odd thing for me is my 4-year-old son is at home celebrating his birthday today, and so I couldn't be with him, so it's pretty neat to do this.
Bob?
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. When you first became a crew chief in 2011, did you think you would win on the Cup level before today?
I certainly had hoped that we would be to victory lane before now. I feel like our race team has surpassed a lot of expectations, but we have also not delivered as rapidly and as far as getting to the winner's circle as I would like for us to. And I just want to say how hard everybody has worked at our company for a number of years to get us here, and how proud that makes me. I can't say enough about Richard and his confidence and his drive. And, you know, one of our slogans this year at RCR has been, "It takes drive." And I think that us getting here today is an example of that drive and that steadfast, stubborn passion for racing and building better race cars that has taken years to get us back here.
Jeff?
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. What was your real thought when you're up there, though? Are you doing that because you're like, okay, you know, maybe we might be able to hang on for a win. If not, maybe we get a top 10. Or, are you just kind of throwing something and hope it works? Or did you have enough knowledge of how the tires are wearing to go, I really think this is going to give us a legitimate shot?
Yeah, well, I had a lot of data that kind of told me the later of what you said there. I ultimately knew our car wasn't very good on cold tires. We struggled every single restart. We were the best car after 25 laps of a run, and unfortunately cars kept blowing tires 35 to 40 laps of a run, so we never really got to really see the fruits of our race car. But we'd lose 2 spots on a restart, and then we'd gain 4 to 5 back as the run went on, and ultimately that 2 steps forward, 1 step back kept slowing our progression to the front. So the last thing I wanted during the last run of the race was another caution, because I'm like, we're just going to give up everything we got. And because I didn't want to sit there and watch our car lose more spots on a restart because we just didn't have the right setup for cold tires early in the run, I figured that our best opportunity to win the race was put the car out front and see if Ryan could make it wide enough. And I can't say that I felt confident we would win the race, but I felt confident that we would at least have a shot. So, and I did feel like we wouldn't be able to do anything else and give ourselves that opportunity.
Go next to Kenny, then to Jeff, then back to Bob.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Were you surprised at how many cars came to pit road?
I was, actually. I was really hoping nobody in front of us stayed out, but I could not say for sure that I thought that was going to happen. I knew we were going to be right at that pivot point, but I expected 1 or 2 guys in front of us to stay out. And, ultimately, what makes that call work is what the rest of the field does. And for us, we were in that right spot to make that decision. And, ultimately, everybody else around us made the call that helped propel us to the lead.
Was there a window that you would make that call, whereas if it was, I think it was like 5 laps left or whatever, had it been 8, 10, 12, would your call have been different then, or would it have, again, depended on what the guys in front of you did?
There was certainly a window, and the window to stay out was very, very, very small, and being that I anticipated it was going to be a green-white checker based on the length of cleanup that it was going to take to get the 22 car off the track, I expected that to be the case, so it made it a little bit easier to make the decision.
And then to Bob.
JimMotterMotorsport.com. Obviously, this win means a lot to you and your team, but can you talk a little bit about what it might mean for RCR in general, which hasn't been able to celebrate a Cup win since the 2013 season?
Yeah, it's tremendous. One of the things that's really challenging about this sport is there's only one winner every week, and friends and people I grew up with that have recently started following racing and kind of want to learn more about it. I always describe it as it's a championship every single Sunday. You are racing against the entire series, the entire group of competitors. It's not like any other standard sport where you face one competitor and you have a 50-50 set of odds of winning or losing. You have a 1 in 40 chance of winning on any given Sunday against all of the best. So I think that because of the way that racing is and because of that, it's really hard to build momentum. And the years it takes to take a company from not being where it needs to be to getting where it needs to be requires tremendous amount of changes, tremendous amount of trial and error, tremendous amount of hard work, working above and beyond, asking more out of people when they just don't see the results. And you can take a company and take it from a company able to build a 15th place car to a 7th place car, and it still doesn't feel like a victory. And recognizing those incremental gains is one of the names of the game in this sport, and helping everybody inside the organization to see we are tracking in the right direction. We can't expect to hit a home run out of nowhere, but we need to expect to see results, pay attention to those results, and accurately measure them, and keep everybody's motivation level where it needs to be. And so that's a hard road, and it's been a hard road for a number of years for us. I don't know how many people I've worked with that are great employees that have struggled with, man, I just don't see I don't see the results. And even though I can come to the racetrack and see them, and ultimately everybody has continued to push on, continually brought better race cars, and we were able to see it today.
Okay, we'll go to Bob and then up to the press box for our final question.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Can you compare the feeling now to the feeling a couple of years ago when after Newman had tapped Larson and you guys made it to the finals of the chase? I mean, is it a similar feeling, or how different is this feeling with a win?
I think the feeling when we transferred to the final round of the chase in 14 was a bit of shock, and I was a bit surprised how exciting it was. You know, I knew it meant a lot to be able to make it to Homestead and, you know, ultimately give ourselves the chance at winning the championship, and we came so close. But I was surprised at how, you know, emotionally overcome I was. Just it was, you know, a challenge. It came down to the last lap. It didn't look like it was going to happen. Then, you know, we told him what he needed to do, and he put his nose to the grindstone and made it happen. And that was like, you know, overwhelming to watch happen. You know, even though we only ran, I think, 12th or 13th on that given race day. But here today, it's a lot different. You know, I think that this is something that, as a competitor, I've wanted to be a part of for so long that it's a bit overwhelming. You know, I knew it would mean a lot. I knew it would be overwhelming, and every race that has gone by that we haven't been able to win has ultimately made that hunger for victory a little bit more. And I'd say the shock is similar, but the excitement is higher. And this time I'm kind of surprised at how I'm not as excited as I feel like I should be right now, because I know that I haven't even completely absorbed it yet. Whereas last time I feel like that it was, you know, it was surprising that it meant so much, and to realize that we had transferred.
And we'll go up for a final question to the press box.
Yeah, actually I have two final questions. Wolfgang Munzer, Rennsport Press Agency. Mr. Luke, congratulations for you. I have two questions for you. I had the impression, maybe I'm wrong, but I had the impression stage races 1 and 2, Ryan took it right conservative, and then the last part of the race he was at the right time, at the right place. Maybe you can give some comment for that. And question number 2, how difficult is this under this very hot conditions, aero-wise, to set up the car for the race? Because the airflow is different than under cold conditions.
Yeah, you know, for us, I can't say that we were really conservative at any point during the race. We were trying our best to get up there. You know, we put ourselves behind on Friday with a bad qualifying effort. We just kind of missed it. You know, we weren't able to hit the short run speed that we needed to have in the race car to qualify where we needed to, so we knew we were going to have to start behind the 8 ball. And this is such a track position race. It always is. You know, even though you've got really good racing and cars coming forward and moving back, it's hard to come from 20th to the front. And so, you know, with us qualifying 22nd, it meant that it was going to be a challenge for us to get up there. And, you know, we had some issues earlier. The temperatures were really high, and we were surprised how hot our car got under caution earlier in the race, and we had to make some temperature adjustments with some tape. That set us back, and, you know, ultimately we just had to do the things we needed to do to make the car right so we could finish the race first. And we took those steps and, you know, kept inching our way up through there. And Ryan was so good on a long run at passing people and moving up through there that ultimately that kind of moved us into position to make that call at the end. So as far as the track conditions and how they relate to downforce, you know, the hotter it gets, the less downforce there is on everything. The air density goes down, and that ultimately diminishes the downforce effects for everybody. I think that today's conditions made this more like a short track as far as preserving the tires and having a setup on the car where the tires would survive and not overheat more than we've ever had before here in recent history, or at least. So I think that these hot conditions put on a great race, and they really made aero matter less. I think the cars, combined with the new rules package that NASCAR put together this year, I think the cars have raced closer and put on some really good shows for the fans. So the aero forces just mean less on a day like today.
Okay, well, Luke, congratulations on the victory today, and good luck next week in Fontana.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
4 years old, Caden Lambert. Just say C-A-D-E. Yep, Cade. Yep. Thank you.
If I can have your attention now in the deadline room. We are now joined by today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race winner, and that is Ryan Newman, driver of the number 31 Grainger Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. This is Ryan's 18th victory in 552 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races. And with the win, Ryan, you've ended a personal 127 race winless drought. How sweet is this victory for you today?
It's sweet for so many reasons. I said that when I won the Brickyard. I said that when I won at Daytona. And this has been the longest drought that I've ever been in. And even in Phoenix, well, no droughts suck. So it's just a hard-fought race, a hard-fought battle, a hard-fought 4 years. Got to thank Richard and Judy, everybody at RCR and ACR for giving me the opportunity to drive the race car, but also giving me a race car that's in contention to win a race. So Luke, my crew chief, Luke Lambert, an amazing first win for him. He made the call to stay out, trusted me to make the race car wide, and just a heck of a team effort. I got to thank Grainger and Caterpillar and Kalahari, Chevrolet, all the people, Coca-Cola that make us go around in a circle. And I got emotional on the back straightaway, and I haven't gotten emotional since yet, and I'm going to plan on not to.
We are also joined by today's team owner, Richard Childress. Richard, a personal winless drought broken by you. I know how important it has been for you to get back into victory lane. Talk about the process that has gone through Richard Childress Racing to get yourself back into this position.
Well, it's like Ryan said, it's been a long, hard fight and a battle all the way, and nobody ever gave up. We never gave up in Ryan. We know that he can do it. Our cars just haven't been quite where we needed to, I think, now. He had a really fast car. Although we made a good move today, he had a really fast car all day long. He drove from 20-something up to 6th, I think, right there at the end. And so that showed he had a car. And when he stayed out, what won the race was when he drove off in turn 3 on that final lap. And I thought, man, if it sticks, it's going to be good. If it don't, it's going to be ugly. So I was really proud of him. Proud of the whole team, Luke Lambert, Caterpillar, Grainger, all of the people that believe in us and stuck with us, and our fans.
Okay, we'll open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, we're going to start here with Bob and then go over to Tom.
Bob Hocker, CSPN. Ryan, what do you feel was kind of your biggest frustration over this stretch of not winning?
Just the level of competition. There for a while when we had all the downforce on the cars, it was a downforce and horsepower game. It was who had the most horsepower to pull the downforce. And, our guys at ECR have done a great job of stepping up. Our engines have been really good all year. But I think this downforce package is playing to our favor as well. I mean, it's fun to go out there and slide around a little bit. We were actually, I thought, more competitive than we've ever been here at this racetrack today and being able to get around to other cars. And, kudos to NASCAR for listening to the drivers and making those changes. I thought we've seen some great racing in the first 4 races of the season. And, just in general, it takes everybody's effort. I'm not singling out the engine group, but it's everybody's effort to make the cars go fast through the corners and then pull down the straightaways.
Okay, next we're going to go to Tom, then to Kenny, then to Isabel.
Congratulations, guys. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Richard, when you walk into the shop tomorrow morning, what's it going to be like to look people in the eyes and say we're winners again?
Well, I'm going to send them a wax mail because I'm going to be I still got business in California I got to do, but they will hear a lot from me tomorrow. I'll get them to put me over the speaker and just tell everybody how proud I am. Our guys, we came back from the test here and we weren't where we wanted to be. They kept cutting bodies off, working 7 days a week, working all kind of hours to get our cars back to where they were competitive. And it's a lot about track position. Once he got out there, I knew he could go.
Kenny?
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. I have one for Ryan and one for Richard. Ryan, coming to that last restart, what's running through your mind, and what are you thinking about on those last couple of laps?
I mean, it's really easy. You're on old tires. It's really easy to screw it up. You got to get your tires cleaned off right. You got to get a good launch. You got to run through the gearbox right, and then you got to hold everybody off. And we watched here last year in the fall race, the big blow up going into turn 1. You had a couple guys on no tires, 2-3 guys on no tires, and a couple guys on 2 tires. And I just I wanted to make sure I put myself in position and not get taken out, but also get a good run off of turn 2. And I really thought once I saw Larson clear Stenhouse, I really thought he was going to be all over me. I don't think he could get going as good as he wanted to. And we had a good car, and it was the first time all day we had some clean air on it. So it was just a matter of putting those couple things together and showing y'all what we had.
And for Richard, you normally watch the race from out here on top of the trailer. I walked out there once today, and I didn't see you. Where were you watching the race from today?
I was on top of the hauler in the garage area. I was on top of the 27 hauler. I got my own little seat up there. It's kind of out of the way. So I was up there.
Okay, we'll go next to Isabel, and then we'll come up here to Bob, and then over to Ryan.
Isabel Gonzalez, ESPN Albuquerque. This is for Ryan Newman. So after going for such a long amount of time without winning, what do you tell yourself to kind of keep going and just know that that win's eventually going to come?
There's a lot of guys in this sport that have never won. So going a long time without winning, you have some confidence in your mind that you can do it. There's guys that go their whole career and never win, and good drivers. So you just got to stay humble. This sport, you walk away from it. There's one guy that wins, 39 losers, and you have to be humbled walking into it that you're probably not going to win that day. It's just the odds are against you. There's some greats out there that have stacked up some numbers. Harvick has done well here. Jimmy's done so well. Jeff's been dominant at times, but that's those days of domination, I think, are kind of fewer and farther between if you look at the first 4 races of this year.
Go to Bob, Ryan, then Bob, and then
Bob Baum from Associated Press. What was your conversation like with your crew chief on those 2 tires, the decision not to go in for tires?
Yeah, I wanted to do 2, and he said, no, I think we should stay out. I said, okay, I got no problem with that. So, it's nice to have that lead. If we would have stayed out and been third, outcome may not have been the same, but just a heck of a gutsy call by Luke Lambert. It's his first win as a crew chief in the Cup Series, and I think that making a gutsy call like that makes it that much more special for him.
Next to Bob.
If that's Judy, you better answer.
If it was Judy, I would have.
Ryan O'Hara, Race Chaser Online, the Performance Motorsports Network. Congratulations. Another thing I wanted to add, Grainger, their last Cup win as a primary sponsor came in the 03 Pepsi 400, 491 races ago. So combined, there's been like a winless streak of 730 races. I'll give a comment on Grainger being back in victory lane.
Well, just proud. They had made the announcement that they're going to come back for some races this year, and proud to get them in victory lane. It's special. It's special even for Caterpillar, to be a part of this team. They're the big primary sponsor that we have, but everybody has to carry some weight, and just proud for Grainger to come back. It's huge for them, it's been a difficult time, I guess you could say, for all of our teams out there to continue with and carry great sponsorship, and we're proud to have Grainger and Caterpillar and Kalahari for one race this year.
We'll go Bob, Dominic, then back in the corner to Michael.
Ryan, can you compare the emotions today to 2014 here when you made the final round of the playoffs? Is it similar? Is it different?
It's a similar feeling of success. That gave me an opportunity to championship. Today gives me an opportunity to championship. But you kind of just live in the moment. That was really special. I knew what I had to do that day, and I used 8 tires instead of 4, and was fortunate enough to pull it off. And today, to have the old tires and not know how good we were going to be. How good those tires are going to refire. I believe it was the only time today that anybody had actually stayed out on old tires. So, sometimes you lead by example, and sometimes you fail by example. Unfortunately, we won it.
Dominic Ottagon with the RacingExperts.com. With this being your 18th career win, Ryan, is it possible to say where this one ranks in comparison to the others because of how long of a drought it was?
Yeah, the drought makes a difference, and it shouldn't, but it does. It's just the way your mind works. If we go out and win the next 3 races in a row, it'll still feel sweet, but after not winning for so long in a sport that's so demanding, it does add some sugar to it.
We'll go to Michael and then to Jim.
Hi, Michael Knight, the Arizona Republic for RC. When you look at what is going on with Ganassi Racing and Kyle Larson leaving here as the championship leader, that's another Chevrolet team that's been trying to elevate its game and becoming more competitive. What do you see that's going on there? Are there any parallels with the development that's going on at RCR?
Yeah, Chips did a great job, that whole organization, and Kyle's a great young driver. The future never looked better for the NASCAR, for the talent that's coming along, but we still have the guys like Ryan and Jimmy and a lot of guys, Dale Jr., that's still out there that are really competitive. But it's just it's a great day for us. When Ryan was talking about this could be one of the sweeter wins that we've had, is because of it's been so long.
Okay, go next to Jim.
Sport.com for Richard and Ryan, if you want to address it. Luke had mentioned, similar to what you just said, that sometimes when you're selling people on that you're making improvement, it's hard to sell, we're running 7th this week instead of running 14th, and that going to victory lane is that you're able to show a lot more that what you've been trying to do is working. Do you think that this victory will help you guys turn that corner?
Yeah, I think it will. You know, we ran really good in Daytona. Ryan ran real well there, and the 3-car ran, all 3 of our cars ran real well. I think Paul finished 5th. Then we go to Atlanta. He qualifies 2nd. We run right up front all day. We had an ignition battery problem there with him in the 3, and both of them are in the top 5, I think. So we're making gains. I think this package, I think a lot of things the guys are doing, and this package fits Ryan perfect.
We'll go upstairs to the press box.
2 questions for Mr. Richard Childress. First of all, congratulations for both of you. Wolfgang Monse, Rennsport Press Agency from Germany. Richard, if I have correctly informed, it was a mega successful weekend, not even here in Arizona, but also in Sebring. The winning car had also an engine prepared by your engine shop. Can you maybe give some infos how you're running both programs, IMSA and NASCAR, from the logistic point of view? And the second question is a technical question. I mean, I saw after the race that Ryan was nearly exhausted, but also for the equipment, the hot weather is very stressful. Do you have in your engine shop something like a simulation to run the engine and to make it, to prepare engine for very hot condition and make sure it will not collapse?
Yes, yesterday we were 1, 2, 3 with our Cadillac engines at Sebring, and I think that was a record for those guys out there. And we won the 24 hours with RCR engines. We won today with ECR engines, and I'm really proud of all the hard-working guys. We've got a separate division that works on the IMSA engines that we do, and we concentrate, each one of them concentrates solely on their division that they're working on. So it's worked out great, and we learned stuff from doing that program. That's one of the key reasons for wanting to do that IMSA program, because of I think the cars and engines will go in the future with us.
Gentlemen?
Not cars, engines.
Gentlemen, congratulations on today's race win, and good luck next weekend in Fontana.
Thank you. Thank the press for sticking with us here, all of you.